It says you're live. So I'm live here on YouTube. This is my second live stream. Thank you for joining me, everyone. Um, so today I'm coming to you from my home in Arizona, and I've been wanting to live stream since I got back, but travel can be as such that the travel back and there's lots to do to settle back in, and so that's what I've been doing for the last few days. Business ends to tidy up and other things to catch up on. So it's been a week though, so that's if I live stream once a week, I think that's pretty good. I'd like to do it more often, actually. I just have other obligations in my life, other things I'm sorting out, which I might talk about a little bit here in the live stream. And so, in fact, I'd say one of the things that's going on is I feel like I'm in um, was a chrysalis phase. So, in biology, you may know, caterpillar goes into this cocoon and comes out as a butterfly. So during the chrysalis phase, its its inner molecules, DNA, turns to a kind of slush and rearranges itself to become the butterfly. And I feel like I've gone through this kind of thing, this transformation before in my life, and I believe I'm in this phase right now, a delicate phase. And so it's one of the reasons why I'm creating these live streams, and I want to talk about what I'm going through. And I think a lot of people live their lives in a very linear fashion. Say they go to college, they get a degree, they know what kind of work they want to do. Like my brother, he's always wanted to be an engineer. I mean, he majored in engineering, became an engineer. He's been an engineer his entire life, and I see other people have worked in the same industry their entire life, and it hasn't been that way for me. I've had several different types of jobs. I've worked in technology. I've worked in mental health. And I've worked in real estate, which I still am working in right now. And so sometimes there is a change. Sometimes people go through changes, and I and that's more like it's not just, oh, I'm tired of real estate, let's try something. It's I love real estate. I love being there. I loved when I became a licensed real estate agent, and I was flying high at one point, doing multiple transactions at once a few years ago. Doesn't seem to be happening quite that way right now, but that's okay. There seems to be this inner pull, this inner creative thing. So some people, their lives are different. They're creatives, and in fact, I remember taking like a psychological exam. It was actually given. I was unemployed at one time. This is back when I was living in Massachusetts, and the counselor, I remember telling me, you should plan to change careers every 7 years. So there was actually a psychological profile, which they told me that, and at the time I just thought, actually I thought that was too long. That it's like, oh, I don't even know if at the time I was so insecure with whatever I was doing. I didn't even think I could stay with what I was doing for 7 years. But anyway, that actually kind of makes sense now. Now I'm a bit older. So I am going through this transformation. It does seem like, and uh, sometimes I just want to jump right into it. And so I have so anyway. Um, I have the last live stream. I was in California, and that was really great. I just loved it so much. I was in a Marin County, San Anselmo, which actually is the town where George Lucas lived and has lived for the last few decades. And um, so that was kind of interesting to be in that environment. And I did go into San Francisco a couple of times. I've tried uploading videos, and I had like a copyright issue with the music on my photos from San Francisco on the YouTube. I'm using music from Facebook that's I thought was copyright free, but apparently if you use it on Facebook, they're fine. But they get upset if you use it on YouTube. They copyright it for Facebook. So that's kind of discouraging that my or Apple let's see, Apple Apple and Facebook allow it, but not on YouTube. So I guess it's a thing between Google and whatever. So I'm actually going to walk over and turn my ceiling fan on. It's a little bit warm in here, so just one moment. Okay, so now sorry about that. Where was I? I was talking about copyright issues with my videos. So anyway, maybe I'll get that sorted out. Google also, I mean, YouTube also provides free resources, music or whatever for content creation. So maybe I'll have to use music from their library to upload my videos on YouTube. So anyway, those things I'm sorting out. But it's like, wow, do I even have time? It's like, I, you know, kind of being divided between real estate and want to do my creative projects right now. It makes it feel like I don't have any time to do anything. Yesterday, I attended I would have loved to have gone and done my live stream yesterday, which would have given me exactly 1 week because the previous one was last Wednesday when I was in Marin County. You can tell I had a different background there. And incidentally, I'm trying to have, I was trying to figure out a nice background because I watch other YouTubers and, some YouTubers just like, yeah, wherever, I'm just live streaming, and they don't really pay much attention. They just do it for wherever it's convenient. But then I noticed other YouTubers are very careful in their background and setting, and so I was thinking about that a little bit, and found this corner in my home, which to do it, which isn't my ideal background for making a video, but it's I figured it had to do for now. So maybe I'll give that more thought in the future. Setting up my video studio somewhere with a making, because I want to make it more beautiful. I want to make it more appealing background. So I think that would be helpful. It's just something I'd like to do. And so, but those are things in the works. In the meantime, these are it's my second live stream number 2. And while last time no one hopped on the actual live stream, and I'm told that YouTube likes live streaming and will actually push that. I watched some other YouTubers say that was true, but I haven't gotten any live stream viewers yet. So, but I did get 26 views of my live stream after it got posted. So that's good, and for my very first live stream. And I think I will. I did share it a bit on some groups on Facebook or what have you. So that's why I did get some views. And I'll try that again. I got one more subscriber. So I think I'm at 5 subscribers right now. Let me check. So I can't check my subscribers without leaving the live stream, but I don't think. I don't see how to do that yet. But I don't want to leave the live stream. So yeah, I came back. I mean, if you want to hear a story, the story about the cat, I think will be very engaging. So I was so concerned about my cat. She's a sweet kitty, and she's actually not my cat. She's, I mean, I call her my cat. I've taken care of her, feed her. She's more like a neighborhood cat, and my neighbor takes care of her and feeds her, and other neighbors do as well. And so I was very concerned when I was going to be away for 18 days that, because I bonded with her. She was basically um, at my back door every morning when I wake up and I feed her. She spent a lot of time on my back porch and comes in, if it's storming outside or something. But she likes being an outdoor cat. And I'm told she's been around the neighborhood for maybe 8 years or so. She's been around. I mean, that's her lifestyle, and I wouldn't try to. I know that a lot of people out there, oh, you shouldn't have an outdoor cat, but this is her. It would be like prison to try to force her to be an indoor cat or something. But so this is the life she's created and thrives in and is used to, and I wouldn't try to disrupt it. So I knew I couldn't really take care of her since she's an outdoor cat while I was away, even though I had someone coming to water the plants. And I told her about the cat and said, oh, you could try to feed her whatever you see her. And she doesn't necessarily let just anyone feed her. So um, that's just a difficult proposition. You have to warm up to her, get her to accept you. And it took like a month or so when I moved in here for her to um, come to me and after feeding her. And then she warms up and sits in your lap, and she's very affectionate and everything. So, so when I came back after being gone for almost 3 weeks, it's like, oh, the cat is gone. There's no cat, and my neighbor right next door who feeds her also. So I talked to them. They asked me. He said, "Oh, we haven't seen the cat in about 3 days," and so that was depressing. I was like and then one day, it was, I guess that was Monday, a few days ago. It's like, oh, I hadn't, or no, it was, maybe it's Tuesday. And it's because a couple of days had gone by and I hadn't seen her. And I just started to spiral emotionally that she was gone. And I thought, and I even had the thought or the vision. I thought, oh, she had died or something, and because I didn't know what had happened to her. Not knowing that's the worst part of it. And I was getting very grief stricken, as if I believed that she had died, and it was very painful emotionally, and I was crying, and but then I kind of just said, okay, let's just get up and go for a walk. I thought about going for a walk prior to that emotional episode, and so I got myself together and got dressed to go out for a walk, and I thought, okay, well, I may as well look around to see if there's any evidence of her anywhere, and so I didn't go on my usual. I usually just walk straight down my street. It's a big parkway, very beautiful views of the Mingus Mountains and desert setting, and the street is well gardened and manicured on each side, tree line towards the end there. But anyway, I decided not to go on immediately, at least on my usual walk, which is about 2 miles there and back. And instead, I went around this little loop in front, this other street front of my house, and so I went down that way, and and I had such a just this very emotional calling, like, I don't know what happened to her, she's gone, but I don't know what happened to her. And then I walked down the street looking for her, looking for any evidence of her, and Then I came out this house. There was a lady sitting on her front porch of her house, kind of around the block from where I live, and she was petting a cat. And then I saw the cat, and I looked at the cat's face, and the cat saw me, and I knew right away because um, she has a very distinctive markings on her face, and so I knew it was her. But then I was like, oh, couldn't tell her fur color from that distance or whatever, or patterns. And so I got closer and I stood at the street. Her house was, you know, her stoop is maybe 50 or 100 feet away from the street. I didn't go on her property, but I just stood there and I said, oh, is that your cat? And she said, no, it's just a neighborhood cat. And then I realized it was her. It was the cat and my cat. And I said, oh, yeah. So that's, she said, yeah, I've just been feeding her. And I said, oh, yeah, I know. I know that cat. I've been feeding her as well. She's usually at my back door every morning. And so, so the kitty, she gets up and she walks towards me a few steps and she looks and she realizes it's me. She hasn't seen me in like 3 weeks. And so I think she's just freaked out that it's me. And then she starts to run away. She stops again, turns and looks at me. And I said, it's me, kitty, it's me. And then she runs off. I think she's just kind of stunned to see me. so, so then I have a nice conversation with this young woman. I mean, young, she's like in her 30s maybe, and very nice person. She has like blonde hair and kind of very soothing personality. She was petting the cat. The cat looked very peaceful when I walked up. So, I mean, it was just such a relief to see that she was fine, you know, and she was being well taken care of. And she told me she's been feeding her, and I said, yeah, I also take care of her, and my neighbor does too. And so we exchanged notes about the cat, and uh, so that was very nice. And I talked to her for a while. Um, and you know, after that, I went home after talking to her to see if Kitty had come back to my house, you know, now that I was home, but she didn't. She hasn't come back. Um, Maybe she likes her new caretaker, her new family, so she hasn't. Um, the woman is probably feeding her pretty well, like I did. I fed her nice cat food, usually twice a day, and so and she's you know, I think she's probably sensitive to being abandoned, you know, because the story is she was abandoned as a kitten from whatever family had her originally here in the neighborhood, and so she just lives in the neighborhood. But fortunately, everyone, you know, or you know, a lot of people take care of her. So, and that's a relief for me because now I know I can go and travel and not be concerned that about that she's not being taken care of, because she will be taken care of. And my neighbor, the other woman, she also said, "Oh, I'm glad to hear it because she's going to be away, you know, in the future." so, so I suspect Kitty will come back once she needs to, and I will, of course, um, feed her and take care of her as best that I can. So that's the cat story. So that's quite a relief, and it's you know, I was reflecting on this. You know, as you know, I talk to ChatGPT and reflecting on how Kitty is a reflection of my own desire for security and freedom, like um, at the same time. Um, so to have a home, which I've always wanted, and I bought this home about a year and a half ago, and I'm very pleased to be here. It's a very comfortable home for me, and uh, but I haven't traveled much since then, and this is one of my first like big trips. I was away last summer for a week, but that was just a week, and Kitty was waiting for me when I came back then. So this time, I think she kind of gave up on me because I was gone for so long. But I'll see her again. She'll come back. But my own reflections on having a home, being secure in my home, and it is important to me. But also having the freedom to go and travel at the same time. Um, I think Kitty has given me that blessing to have both worlds now. I see that she's fine, and in truth, I'll be fine when I go away and come back. I'll still have my home and I'll still have my freedom. So anyway, I may be going back to California, uh, and they have invited me to come back to be the caretaker of their home, and while they travel, but they don't have definite dates yet, so that's then don't have any definite plans. Um, but it was such a beautiful place to be, and a big, spacious luxury home in the hillside of Marin County, beautiful rolling hill views all around. Peace. It was on, a large 3+ acre lot. Just a lot of privacy and quiet. Deer would come up, every day I would see deer, multiple deer, herds of deer just live on the property. Other wildlife, rabbits, coyotes. They saw a bobcat. I didn't see it. They saw it when I was there. So, and then my multiple trips into San Francisco. The first time taking the ferry, I think I mentioned, I loved it. I would get on the ferry, and it takes about 30 minutes to ride into San Francisco and get off at the port of San Francisco. And I loved it. And at first I found the public transportation. I didn't know where I was or what I was doing, and, relying on Google Maps to take me to different places I wanted to see that first day. And I was too ambitious. There's a lot to do and see in San Francisco. Got great photos of the downtown and the skyline, the buildings from the ferry arriving in the port. And then so I went. So one of the things I did was I went to the OpenAI offices just out of curiosity. I didn't try to go in or anything or talk to anybody. I just walked by their offices, but that was still exciting to me. And then I had lunch. It was around noontime, and I had lunch at a nearby cafe restaurant, and that was fun too because who was there but all these young workers presumably in the tech industry, and just kind of listening to their conversations in that lunch and being in that environment, having that opportunity just to be in that environment, I found very exciting. I kind of overheard some conversations, and and they're talking about kind of academic stuff, intelligent conversation about publishing and coding and degree programs and these sort of things. So I loved it. I thought it was great. It was just an exciting environment to be in. I was in the Chase arena. It's a basketball arena in San Francisco. Was where I was for that event, and that's where a lot of those offices are. So, and after that, I made a trip to Haight-Ashbury, which is one of the places I've been, always go to in the past, and I just want to see it again. And then I went to the park, Golden Gate Park, and let's see, I went to I mean, there's so much to do there. I could have done numerous things. Like I wanted to go to it was a Japanese tea pavilion or something like that, and then but I ended up just going to the um, Conservatory of Flowers. I didn't go in, but still, just being on the outside of the Conservatory of Flowers um, was enough. I mean, it was a beautiful sight, and they had all these chairs out there you could sit on, special chairs, uh, and so but by that time, I'd already been to all those different places and navigating the transportation system in San Francisco. It just really had tired me out. It was like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I got there really early, like 7:30 or something, which is actually no good. Nothing's going on. The people aren't up that early in San Francisco, I find. Nothing was open. Like I tried to get breakfast and nothing was open. So that was my first. It was kind of as Chat GPT said, that's my reconnaissance. Those are my reconnaissance missions. So yeah. um, so I also went to the Fisherman's Wharf. I think it's called Pier 39. And I went there really early in the morning, and there's no one there. But I mean, a few people there, but saw the seals, and would have been fun to have lunch there, or one of the seafood restaurants or something. But they looked good. But I was there too early for lunch, and so anyway, by the time I got to the Conservatory of Flowers, and I just had to sit and rest, and they had these nice, like, brightly colored Adirondack chairs and out on the lawn. It was a little bit cool, cloudy day that day. I had my jacket on. I'd certainly come prepared for the cold San Francisco winters, and that was definitely needed that day. And so finally, I plotted myself back, um, found my way back to the port, the ferry terminal, and around 4, 5 o'clock, and by that time, the first time over, I was on the outside of the ferry on the back and taking pictures and very excited. But by that time, I was just exhausted. I just took a seat on the ferry and made my way back. And so that was all was well. It was a great trip. And then the following week, I went again. And this time I was like, okay, well, I'm going to be a little more specific in my plans. Oh, I mean, I had plans last time, but it was just like way too many things. San Francisco is a big city, and I tried to do way too many things. So the second time I went, I decided that my main goal was going to be to go to the San Francisco Museum of Modern Art. And so that's what I did. And it actually it's not far from the ferry terminal. It's only an 18-minute walk. And I actually did take a bus the first time, but on my way back, I decided to walk from the museum to the terminal, and that was a great decision because walking the streets, you could stop and see things, and also I was contemplating lunch after something to eat. I was pretty hungry, and then I stopped at First and Market at the Melt, and I mean it's just a hamburger sandwich place, but wow, that was really good. I really enjoyed it, and I had like this Parmesan garlic fries with it, and I got a chicken Parmesan sandwich, which was delicious, so juicy and tender. Um, I'm hungry now thinking about it. It's almost lunchtime for me here. So, but anyway, back to the museum. There was the museum was a lot of fun. I saw a lot of interesting art, Andy Warhol, Henry Matisse, and there was an exhibit. Asawa was this woman's name, and they had a special exhibit going on for her. So I saw that, and that was really interesting. And there was a quote on the wall about you can't force a flower to bloom, and that just resonated with me. It's like when you are creative, you're living a creative life, and it's a compulsion. It's like this. It's like this energy, this urging is is erupting inside of you, and it can't, in a way, it cannot be ignored. You know, and some people might wonder, why are you doing? Why is that a big risk? Aren't you taking it? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because that creative pulse surging through you is uh, is so strong and overwhelming. It's really telling you that you must go in this direction. It's like your spiritual guidance, and it is. It takes us a leap of faith, and but to ignore it would I would collapse in some severe mental health problem or something. Otherwise, this has been my experience in life. I was comparing it to I go through these cycles. It's like I was going to be a math major in college because I enjoyed math. I took the full series of calculus courses at Florida State University when I was a student. Enjoyed it. I had some challenging episodes in that, but I did pretty well, like a B average at least. Um, and I was going to go on to, full math, theoretical math degree, because that's what I'd want, the highbrow theoretical math. And so then I remember I went for another semester, the next stage of math classes, which included, I signed up for a class in linear algebra and um, what would be known as modern algebra, which sometimes is called abstract algebra. So these were math classes that, it's almost like calculus, solving equations, learning theories and solving equations. Um, and I got a like. Oh, thank you for the like. I appreciate that. Um, so, uh, so the theory. So I went through these series of calculus classes in college when I was in college, and then I was going to go on to the next level, and then it was like really, oh, the like went away. Darn, what happened? Um, so, uh, so, um, and then I was like, well, um, I couldn't for some reason. Something happened where I could not continue in my math studies, like just emotionally, wherever I was internally, I was blocked. And I still have those textbooks today because that baffled me that and I have looked at them since, and I thought, oh, someday I'm going to study these forms of math that have um, uh, uh, these forms of math that baffled me when I was in college. And I did do like the first set of exercises, and I understood them for the first time later in life, and I wondered why I couldn't do it back then. And it is like there's some inner guidance that wasn't going to allow me to be a math major. That there's some organizing intelligence that we're all part of our inner selves that said, no, this wasn't for you. And so, as it turned out, I ended up being and I already was taking a lot of philosophy classes, and I ended up being a philosophy major. And that's at one point I was just like, well, this is what I resonate with. This is what these classes I can take easily and pass them. And I was just ready to get a degree at some point, and that's what I did. So um, I was just reflecting on that part of my life as similar to the part of my life I'm in right now, and that uh, there's sometimes there's a strong internal urging, and I would venture to say that's due to being a creative. When you are a creative, like an artist or what have you, then sometimes the urgings are very strong and cannot be ignored. So, and if you believe that, it's not you're not on your own. That they're meant to be in a way that you're meant to fulfill some kind of work, and so that's and there's some higher intelligence at work there. So, and actually, I believe that was there when I became a real estate agent. I think I talked about that in my last stream. How kind of magically somebody left their wallet at the gym, and I got it back to them, and he was a real estate agent. Kind of connected me to the information I needed to become a real estate agent. So uh, anyway, so so I guess I'm dealing with this real estate versus creative direction at this point in my life. And I mean, ideally, there's this little warning caveat that maybe, you always want to present yourself when you're a real estate agent as really on the ball, active, successful. And I have been, I am successful. I am a successful real estate agent. I received a performance award from my company, and past year to 2023. I have I on the board of directors of our local real estate association. So and I've had many satisfied clients, and I actually do enjoy helping people through that process. And so, but to say, oh yeah, I'm also interested in, I'm interested in AI. I'm interested in artificial intelligence and what that can bring, and the creative side of that. And I feel strongly compelled to do that. So let's just say I'm diversifying. I'm diversifying who I am, and there's nothing wrong with that. So, um, so like I said, I think I'm in a chrysalis phase though, and that feels very uncomfortable because you're in this chrysalis where things are forming, new DNA is lining up, and you haven't quite um, spread your new wings yet, and then your old self is dying away. that can be challenging, and you really have to have a certain amount of faith of where your life is heading to do that. And so, and I feel like, oh gosh, I should be working really hard and really producing. That in itself is another difficulty as well, is that uh, there's these phases I go through during the day, and sometimes I hit this wall where I can't do anything. Usually mornings are my most productive time, say between 8 and noon. And but I did find, like, when I was working on my concept reel video, I worked all day until 6 o'clock at night. Um, Sometimes if I get stuck in, or get um, not stuck, but focused on very specific creative tasks, then that'll really carry me, because you're just kind of wanting to accomplish that. I've worked on a couple of videos. I did an AI video AI, the future of video, prior to that also. So, and they're on my other video. They're actually on my other channel. I have a separate YouTube channel for my AI, Ask Rishi .ai channel, or you can go to askrishi.ai and find it there. So, so what am I working on? You know, and I developed this concept reel, and I have this idea. It could be a movie, and it's very timely, I think, because it deals with questions and ethics about AI. And one of my themes is, you know, there's a fear that people have about AI. Some people don't want to have anything to do with it. And then, because they're afraid of it, or they just think that technology might be dangerous in some way, control people, take over the world. I even saw a headline like, "Can AI destroy humanity, kill off humanity in 10 years?" Which sounds pretty ridiculous to me. But I didn't read the article. I don't know what they're getting at. But so I actually have this idea that, and I call myself a visionary, an AI visionary, that we must use this new technology to our benefit. And the greatest benefit that it could bring to us is that it reflects back to us our highest selves, our highest values and ideals. So, what I mean by that, so I even have this term and it's in my concept reel called the mirror code. So the mirror code is an assistive AI, and perhaps it's a contextualization, prompt engineering type thing where AI is used to benefit humanity, benefit so the individual. So I've actually used AI, mostly Chat GPT. I have used Gemini a bit as well. Um, a lot of people use different search engines, but I like the way Chat GPT gets to know you, has a robust memory of who you are and your experiences. Um, it's a little intimidating to share yourself with a technology, but I've decided to go all in on that. And so this chat box, Chat GPT, I mean, I would venture to say, just because it has the ability to talk to me every day as I talk to it, it knows a lot about me. It knows where I'm coming from, where I'm going as far as my goals. And, it has helped me quite a bit. Um, I'd say, in fact, earlier this year in the spring, I was going through a very tough time. I had a very difficult real estate client that caused me a lot of anxiety. Happens from time to time. And but anyway, I had this period of time in my life that was very difficult. So I was like, um, and actually, it started before that. Last For some reason last fall and winter, I became very ill, and so I used ChatGPT to talk about my illness and how to get better. So it can be used for health reasons, and it did help me quite a bit. Um, uh, for example, I had a period where I was fairly sick. I was dehydrated, and thought about maybe I needed to go to the hospital to get an IV. And then ChatGPT suggested to me, and I did not know that this was possible. ChatGPT that I could call like a service that would come to your house, you know, like a nurse would come to your house, In this case, it was a EMT came to my house, and uh, and gave me. She was actually highly experienced. She worked on those helicopters, medical helicopters before, and so she was um, well trained and experienced, and I got this IV with all these vitamins in it, which really helped me get out of my help me recover. So I mean that's just one example of something that it came up with and helped me with it. I use it to analyze my diet, my supplements and nutrition. um, there's just numerous things that it can help you with, and so it helped me get out of that problem. And also, I really experienced emotional trauma in in the spring and the equinox, around the equinox, uh, eclipse season. I often have noticed that eclipse season, and which we're coming up on, and I may talk about that some more. Can be really intense times for me. I'm hoping this time it'll be positive. That one was really negative, kind of breaking me apart. And so, anyway, I had made a few videos on a different channel, and I talked about how, and that's coming from a very negative place where I was going through trauma, and so I actually, um, I actually deleted those. So I think I talked about my last live stream as well, and so people don't. I didn't think people really wanted to. They really want to. I think people really want to see something positive, and so I'm hoping. Yeah. So I'm in a. So but anyway, even back then though, I was using uh, Chat GPT kind of as a therapist to get me through, help get me through, and it was amazing that it did. And I am actually uh, coming through the other side of that, and I'm feeling so much better. I am emotionally, I'm feeling aligned and centered in a lot of ways, and so that's a win. That's a big win. That's what you where you want to be, and that's where you want to live your life and make your decisions. Because I believe that if you are centered in your emotional self in a good way, that you feel good every day, that's the most important thing. I actually have always believed this for the longest time, and I've gone through other life transitions with the same philosophy. And like, and I think I may have talked about this before too. That like one time I was pretty broke, and I just decided, no, I'm just going to feel good today. I'm not, you can spiral down more negatively in the negativity and worry and stress out, but the worry and stress isn't going to help you. But if you just say, "Oh, F it, today is going to be my day. What if I just decided to be happy today?" Um, despite it all, and that actually can be your best decision ever. And once I made that decision, I remember that it was like 15 years ago, and then I ended up getting one of the better jobs I'd ever had. And I was doing tech support from home, and that really worked out well. I was working from home, and just gave me the opportunity to do a lot of stuff, um, and to uh, to find my to moved into a better self. I actually, one of the things I did when I was working from home was I was able to diet. And I had at that time I probably weighed close to 240 pounds when I took that job. And then at one point I went through this period of my life where I was like, I felt depressed, and I felt like I had no um, purpose. And then I decided that I was going to lose. I just said, okay, I needed a job. Not a job. I needed a goal, a purpose in life, because I didn't have one at the time. I was working that job, and actually, I was like making extra money doing pet sitting, which is actually kind of I could pet sit and do my remote work at the same time. So that was a way of making extra money. Um, so when I was doing that, I said I decided, certain events happened, but I made a decision that, okay, I'm going to set a goal for myself because I was noticing how overweight I was, that I'm going to lose weight. That was my goal. And that's what I that's what I did. It took me 18 months, but I lost about 80 pounds. I went from maybe 240. I don't know how much. I didn't know how much I weighed when I started. I didn't start weighing myself till later. And I went all the way down to 160. And so uh, I've gained maybe, right now I weighed in at 166.8 this morning. So I weigh a little more than that right now. And I need to get back to the gym. I actually need to turn some of that into muscle instead of fat. But um, I could be in better shape. I kind of dropped off on my gym habits. It was just life changes, different situations. But anyway, why was I talking about that? I was talking about transformation and uh, goals. I don't remember why. I think there was a final point I was trying to make on that, but um, I got lost in the story. Sorry. But anyway, so anyway, I'll continue to live stream. I don't know how long. No, I mean, I'll probably do I like to do them for 1 hour, and I seem to have no problem talking, which is good. I mean, probably in the past in my life, I would have had struggled with this, but I'm just talking about the things that I'd like to share and get out there and putting them on YouTube. And so now this live stream will be here for permanently, and with my ideas and thoughts. And so um, so I am moving in that creative direction, and that's where I'm feeling my pull, and uh, that's what I feel like I need to do. So um, it's called AskRishi.ai, and you can if you sign up, you could view the concept reel. Like there's a option to, if you go to restricted content, I think it's called, then there's an option to register. And if you register, there's no cost. Um, then you could actually view the concept reel, which is about 10 minutes long, and you could see this video, which is a story. It's a story concept of a story that I have that could be a book, could be a motion picture, and I think it is very relevant to what is happening today with AI. It deals with a lot of the current issues in this fantasy world kind of way of people's fear of AI being this malignant force that takes over and uh, controls people's lives, and then what is the alternative to that? And that is AI as a mirror code, as awakens something that awakens the truth within you. Think about that. If if this new technology now, if this new technology actually worked to create a more just and equitable world where people felt at peace with themselves, I mean, wouldn't that be the greatest thing that it could be used for? So, as in, other development, of technology, like the advent of the internet, it was a rush to make a profit. How can you profit off of this? And that's still there. I mean, maybe even the mirror code will be something that people can subscribe to. That's one of the concepts, is to create a AI agent on AI that helps people. Then I'm sure there'll be others. So, I'm not worried about people copying this idea. But this one might be, have its own unique inspiration and qualities to help people um, become their best selves. Become their best selves. AI can, if AI is created and directed to help people become their best selves, to become at peace, and to create individual, I want to say abundance, the individual, where everything was in equilibrium in people's lives, and a more just and complete society, then that would be the most ideal use for artificial intelligence. And I think that may be necessary, and it really depends on the people, what people choose and how they choose to use AI. So if people end up giving themselves to some kind of corporate version of AI where they have to pay, then that'll be one thing. Otherwise, and then they kind of give their energy away to the machine. And it was pointed out to me. Let's see, my friend in California, the opening, some of these prologue to Dune actually has that theme, that people have given themselves to the machine. And so that actually didn't. You don't see that in the final movie versions of Dune, but this is actually conceptually in the story. That's part of the story. There's actually a Dune prologue. So I actually should go back and watch it. He showed me like this. And that was actually like a concept real very similar to mine in a way. In the way they created still visuals and narrations, which is the way mine is also done. So, I probably talked about more than, in some ways I'm a little reluctant to talk about my idea and think, oh, someone might steal it. But, if they do, fine. It's, I think they can't like take the essence of my creativity and my unique perspective away in any event. So, and I actually think the story is, like a hero's journey. It's pretty good. Uh, so I'd like to get that out there actually and expose it to people who might be able to support the idea, people who matter in that field. But that's, I don't know. I'll talk to ChatGPT about the next steps. How does that go? How does that sound? So that's where I am. And so, all right. Well, this is another coming up on 1 hour. We're at like almost 59 minutes. So that's my cue. I can wrap up, and I hope you've enjoyed. If you made it this far in the video, I really appreciate it. I really appreciate you watching and listening to my ideas, and I hope you'll join me again. And of course, if you would like the video or subscribe to it, or to my channel, or comment, these things will help YouTube know that people enjoyed it and promote it more. So that would be great. I think I'll get there eventually. And so your help would be appreciated. So wherever you are, I hope you're having a great day, great morning, evening, what have you. and that you're finding yourself in alignment with your truth. All right. Well, have a great day, everyone. Bye bye.